Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to read the chapter titled Mr. Soupy. Now, this is the actual technical start of the book. The last two parts were just telling us two little paragraphs about the characters. So, nice little introduction there. Let's take a look at this. On Saturdays, we do errands with Dad. He's good at errands. Today, even though it was really warm, the Payne was wearing earmuffs. Big, fluffy ones. Our first stop was the shoe store. The shoe salesman took one look at the Payne and said, "We have some nice snow boots on sale, half price." "Why would I want snow boots in May?" the Payne asked. The shoe man shrugged. "Looks like you're getting ready for winter," he said, pointing to the Payne's earmuffs. "I'm getting ready for a haircut," the Payne told him. "Oh," the shoeman said, as if that made perfect sense. The Payne got a pair of sandals. So did I. From the shoe store, the three of us walked up the street to Mr. Soupy's. Mr. Soupy is our hair cutter. You have to be under 12 to have Mr. Soupy cut your hair. In the window of his shop there's a sign. It says, "Mr. Soupy gets the job done." Mr. Soupy sings while he snips your hair. "No more than an inch," I reminded him when it was my turn. "A big inch or a little inch?" Mr. Soupy sang. "A little inch," I said. I knew when Mr. Soupy was done, because he whipped off my cape and shook out the hair. I watched as it floated to the floor. It looked like more than an inch to me. When it was the Payne's turn, he was still outside. He looked over at Dad. Dad was in the waiting area, reading a magazine. Then the Payne looked at me. "What?" I said, even though I knew what the Payne is scared of haircuts. Oh, the Payne is scared of haircuts. He didn't used to be scared. Nobody knows why he's suddenly weird about them. Maybe he knows. But if he does, he's not telling. Finally, he climbed up into the chair. Mr. Soupy said, walking around him. "It's hard to give a good haircut when a person is wearing earmuffs." The Payne just sat in the chair, pretending he couldn't hear a word. I lifted one of his earmuffs halfway off and talked right into his ear. "Mr. Soupy says he can't give you a good haircut while you're wearing earmuffs." As soon as I said it, I started wondering if Mr. Soupy is his real name. Probably not. It's probably just some name he invented. If it is his real name, I wonder if it's his first name or his last name. Or last. Probably his last. I wonder what his first name is. Let's check out the picture. Sam. Sam Soupy? Scott Soupy? Zachariah Soupy. Mr. Soupy tried to get the Payne to take off his earmuffs. He made silly faces. He did a wild dance. But he wasn't getting anywhere. The Payne just sat there. Finally, I said, "Why don't you try it with just one ear covered? That way, if Mr. Soupy doesn't cut off your first ear, you'll know you're safe." The Payne didn't answer. "Look around," I told him. "Do you see anyone without 2 ears?" The Payne looked at the kids who were waiting. They looked back at him. "That doesn't mean it can't happen," he said. "Besides, if Mr. Soupy cut off your ear, would you come back?" "The only cut you get at my shop is a haircut," Mr. Soupy sang. Then he laughed at his own joke. I laughed with him. But the Payne didn't even smile. "You can cut the back," the Payne told Mr. Soupy. "You can cut the front, but you can't cut around my ears. Those are the rules." "Okay," Mr. Soupy said. "No problem." "You can do that?" the Payne asked. "Sure." "Won't he look funny?" I said. "Sure," Mr. Soupy said, but he didn't say he cared about looking funny. Mr. Soupy raised his scissors to the Payne's head. As soon as he did, the Payne let out a wail. "Wah!" That got Dad's attention. He came over to the chair. "What's up?" Dad asked. Mr. Soupy put down his scissors and said, "I give up." "You can't give up," Dad said. "You're Mr. Soupy. You get the job done." Mr. Soupy sighed. "Bring him back in a few days," he told Dad, "when I don't have a crowd waiting." At home, the Payne said, "I'll grow my hair long and wear it in a ponytail." "Okay," Mom said. "Fine." Fine? I asked her. How can you say that's fine? What's the problem? She said. If Jake wants a ponytail, he can grow a ponytail. George Washington had long hair, the Payne said. He was racing 2 little cars around Mom's chair. Fluzzy was trying to catch them. Oh, excellent, I thought. My brother's going to look like George Washington. Are you going to get wooden teeth, too? I asked him. Because George Washington had wooden teeth. Did you know that? The Payne opened his mouth and showed off his teeth. 3 weeks went by. The Payne's hair was flopping in his eyes. How long does it take to grow a ponytail? He asked. A long time, I told him. How long? He asked. All summer, at least. All summer, he repeated, as if he couldn't believe it. I offered him barrettes. He knocked them out of my hand. Fluzzy batted them around on the floor. I tried not to laugh. The next day I said, I have an idea. I got some cardboard, a pair of scissors, my best markers, and some string. Then I made the Payne a set of cardboard ears. Green ears with pink dots, the Payne said when I was finished. Why not? I asked, attaching them to his ears. Suppose Mr. Soupy cuts through the cardboard, the Payne asked. He won't. How do you know? Did you ever try to cut through cardboard? I said. The Payne checked himself in the mirror. I look like someone from another planet. You act like someone from another planet, I told him. That's how much you know, he said. But the next Saturday he wore his green ears with the pink dots to Mr. Soupy's shop. Nice ears, Mr. Soupy said. Thanks, I said. I made them. Good job, Mr. Soupy said. I had to agree. Mr. Soupy got to work. He saved the ears trimmed for last. The Payne closed his eyes. I whispered, I didn't want to tell you until now, but these ears have magical powers. What powers? The Payne asked. He opened his eyes and looked at me. I whispered, if Mr. Soupy gets too close to an ear. What? The Payne said. What will happen? Mr. Soupy will find out, I said. Stop, Mr. Soupy said. You're scaring me. But I noticed how carefully he trimmed around the Payne's ears. When Mr. Soupy was done, he whipped the cape off the Payne. The hair fell to the floor. The Payne looked down at it. Can I have some of my hair? Or some of that hair? He said. He asked. Help yourself, Mr. Soupy said. No extra charge. The Payne jumped out of the chair. He scooped his hair off the floor and mashed it into a ball. Mr. Soupy handed him a little bag. What are you going to do with all that hair? I asked. The Payne shrugged. You never know. Then he put his green ears back on. You're so weird, I told him. I know, he said. That's why you're glad I'm your brother. Who says I'm glad you're my brother? I asked. Did I ever say I'm glad you're my brother? No, but you made me ears, the Payne said. So you must like me. Like you, I said, as if that was the craziest thing I've ever heard. If you didn't like me, why would you help me? He asked. Help you? I said, as if that was the second craziest thing I've ever heard. I wasn't trying to help you. I was trying to help Mr. Soupy get the job done. Whew. And that's the end of chapter 1. The next one is titled Soccer Doc. And it's by The Payne. So we'll have to check it out. See you guys later. Bye, everyone.